What's up? It's Oscar the Movie Guy, and today I'm going to give you my top 10 worst movies of 2016. As you all know, 2016 has come to an end, and now we have officially begun 2017. But before we head out to the new year, let's talk about some films that I hated. Now, just to be clear, I didn't see every bad film of 2016, but I saw enough in order to make a top 10 list. So before we get on to the top 10, I have two dishonorable mentions. The first one is The Good Neighbor and Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. Now that we got the dishonorable mentions out of the way, let's get on to the 10 films that are pieces of shit. With number 10. Number 10 is Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Now, I was really dreading to see this movie. Like, I had zero interest in seeing this film. The trailers looked horrible, it looked very cliched, but hey, I decided to check it out in theaters and should have saved my time and money. While the characters have good chemistry with each other, especially with Zac Efron, Adam Devine, and pretty much everyone, they all do a good job. But the problem is, it's very cliched, it's just unrealistic, and it's just filled with some of the most cringeworthy comedic scenes I have seen all year. And I've seen a lot. So number 10 is Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Number 9 is Ratchet and Clank. Not a lot of people saw this movie, but I did. And I truly regret it. In fact, the worst thing that happened to me during this movie is that I saw it on the same opening week that Captain America Civil War came out in theaters. And it should have been the opposite, because this movie is trash. You don't really get the sense of chemistry that you want from the two characters, Ratchet and Clank, especially since they have really good chemistry in the video game. Okay, so let me ask you all a question, if for those who are a fan of the video game. If this film was its own thing, like if it wasn't based off of any video games, would you be able to explain to me that these two characters actually have a bond that's memorable? I didn't think so. So number 9 is Ratchet and Clank. Number 8, we have The Forest. The Forest was the first film to be released in 2016, but I did not see it in theaters. But I happened to rent it on Blu-ray on Redbox the first day it came out back in April. After I saw it, I don't know what to wish. This movie sucks. I'm glad I did not see it in theaters. By the end of it, there was no real purpose into making this film. It had potential. I wouldn't say original. I wouldn't say the film is original, but since it's like takes place in a suicide forest in Japan, and it's a horror film, and I don't think that it's actually been done before, it had potential, and I was actually excited to see it. I wasn't surprised that I was very let down of it. I mean, it was the first film of 2016 on a January. In a few days, Underworld Blood Wars is coming out, and I wouldn't be surprised if that movie's horrible. Number 8 is The Forest. Number 7 is When the Bough Breaks. Out of all the movies that I could have saw on New Year's Eve, I decided to see When the Bough Breaks. You can tell by that reaction that was a huge mistake. This movie is just another Fatal Attraction ripoffs like Obsessed, No Good Deed, The Perfect Guy. I mean, it wastes potential. It wastes it wastes two really good actors, Morris Chestnut and Regina Hall. Morris Chestnut, you fucked up. Seriously, you fucked up. You're still a good actor, but don't ever do a movie like this, please. In fact, even though Morris Chestnut and Regina Hall both do a good job and have really nice bond with each other, their characters are kind of stupid. And the surgeon wants revenge because he's in love with the husband for no reason, and then he's partnered up with his ex-boyfriend. Like, this movie's all over the place. Like, what does it want to be? Like, what does the character of the surgeon actually want to do? It's predictable. Don't waste your time. Number 7 is When the Bough Breaks. Number 6 is Alice Through the Looking Glass. Disney, what were you thinking? What made you think that anyone wanted a sequel to Alice in Wonderland? Nobody asked for this. And I was actually looking forward to it. It had the director from The Muppets and Muppets Most Wanted. I feel like you just ruined this guy's career. And Johnny Depp's. Well, his career was already ruined, but you get my point. It's a good thing that this movie tanked at the box office, because now Disney will learn a lesson that just because the first film crossed $1 billion at the worldwide box office doesn't mean you can make a sequel. That doesn't work. Number 6 is Alice Through the Looking Glass. Here we are. We made it. Here are the top 5 worst films of 2016. Now, these 5 films that I'm about to announce, these are the movies that made me cringe. They made me desperate, angry, and sad. Number 5 is Zoolander 2. What do you know? We have another comedy. Congratulations. Congratulations, Zoolander 2. You suck. When you have a movie that starts off with Justin Bieber getting shot 1,000 times and then he takes a selfie, you know you screwed up on watching it. Because there's no going back. Just like I suffer from this dog shit, I did not laugh once. As a matter of fact, hell, I didn't laugh. You want to know what I did not do? I did not see the first Zoolander. And after seeing Zoolander 2, I don't even know if I want to see it. I mean, I heard it's 10 times better than the sequel, but if it's the same movie, then what's the point? Ben Stiller? Don't make another movie like this, please. I mean, go back to making Night at the Museum movies. Or make another movie like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Because that's what you're good at. So number 5 is Zoolander 2. Number 4, we have The Disappointments Room. This movie makes no sense. It makes no sense that it doesn't even have an ending. And when your movie doesn't have an ending, there needs to be an explanation. Especially from the director and writer. Hell, the director is DJ Caruso. And one of my favorite films that he's directed is Eagle Eye, which I found it to be very underrated. Relativity Studios, how did you go bankrupt? Was your bankruptcy so bad that you decided to release this movie at the last minute with no trailers? Oh wait, yeah, you did have a trailer, but 2 weeks, 2 weeks before the movie even came out in September 9th. That proves that they were not even trying. The only thing I found mediocre is Kate Beckinsale, the husband. He's like, oh, I play Xbox and I watch my wife work. Number 4 is The Disappointments Room. Now, for my number 3 spot, a lot of y'all are going to be surprised. Like, you're going to say, oh, why is this movie not on your number 1? You did a review and you hate it. Yes, I hated it. But at least with this film, I already knew it was going to be bad. And when I walked out of the theater, it was bad. So, no surprise there. And so my number 3 is Norm of the North. This film is definitely horrible. But for my number 2 and my number 1 spot, they had potential. So Norm of the North, you're lucky to be on my number 3 and not my number 1. So number 3 is Norm of the North. Number 2 is another horror film. You thought Disappointments Room was the worst film of the year? Yeah, it might be. But number 2 might be a little worse, and that is The Other Side of the Door. I had to be one of those people who actually was curious to see how bad this movie was. Especially how the trailers, they actually look pretty good. But that good feeling they had from the trailer is definitely not in there when you see the movie. It sets a completely different tone. This movie is filled with horror cliches like jump scares, birds jumping out of you when you open a door. Like, I'm not even kidding. There's this scene where the mother and the daughter, like, I guess they're near the ocean, the Indian Ocean, I believe. But that's not the point. The point is, they're both standing there and the daughter realized, who's that guy? Oh, no one. Over there. And I was like, yeah, I see him. No, behind you. He turns around and is like, bang! Jump scares, sound, and a person right next to you. Wow, how original. How fucking original. I will admit, there is one thing that I actually thought was good. But it was not the saving grace. And the only character I actually like and put enough effort into it was an Indian housekeeper, which I forgot the actress name, but she did a good job. But that doesn't make the movie good. In fact, she's barely in the movie. Oh, spoiler alert, who gives a shit? No one's gonna watch this anyway. She dies. Yeah, she dies. So, you know what, if you want to watch it, go ahead. But you thank me later. You will thank me later. After you see it. Number 2 is The Other Side of the Door. Here we are. Out of all the movies that I've seen in 2016, no movie insulted my intelligence. Then, you probably guessed it, my worst movie of 2016 is Ice Age Collision Course. you guys have any idea how hard was it for me to put an Ice Age film as my worst movie of the year? This took a lot for me to think about, actually. I thought about, what if this is higher on the list than Norm of the North? Like I said, Norm of the North, it had zero potential. I already knew it was going to be bad, and it was bad. But with this, I was not expecting this film to be that bad. Yes, I heard it got bad reviews. It has a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. Where has this franchise gone? Can it just die, please? I am a huge fan of the Ice Age series. I grew up watching it as a little kid. I remember seeing the first film, second film, and the third film. In fact, if this film stayed as a trilogy, it would have been probably a really fun trilogy. But no, you had to make Continental Drift, which I thought was also pretty bad, but not as bad as Collision Course. Oh. I lost like 70% of my brain cells. I'm not even joking. This movie can go suck it. If you make an Ice Age 6, shame on you. 20th Century Fox and Blue Sky Studios. So I hope all of you enjoy my top 10 worst movies of 2016. I had fun making this list, and I can't wait to show you guys my top 10 favorite films of 2016. Maybe in a few weeks or a couple weeks. Oh no, I still have to see more films that I heard really good reviews. Like, rate, subscribe, and you can comment, and I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.